Right now, we would like to welcome the children and youth representatives to come up so that they can ask the governor, candidates for governor, their questions on what the candidates will do to support positive development in youth communities.
Real quick, gubernatorial candidates, please remember that you only have 3 minutes to respond at the very end of all the questions.
Hi, my name is Brandon. All children and youth need economic security. If elected, what will be your first step toward reducing child poverty in Minnesota?
Hi, my name is Lorenzo. All children and youth need stable, healthy housing. If elected, what steps will you take to increase the stability and affordability of housing for Minnesota's families and children?
My name is Shelby Richardson. All children and youth need a fair juvenile justice system. If elected, how will you make sure the juvenile justice system holds youth accountable, but gives them the opportunity for future success and is fair to all children and youth in the system?
Hi, my name is Ivan. All children and youth need a strong beginning. If elected, what would you do to ensure every Minnesota child receives quality and care and early education?
Hi, my name is Savannah John. All children and youth need to be healthy. What role do you believe the state should have in ensuring that every child gets the food they need for healthy development?
Hi, I'm Sam. All children and youth need nourishing environments. If elected, what will you do to stop child abuse and neglect before it happens?
My name is Lily Schaefer. All children and youth need a quality education. With our state facing a huge budget deficit, what are your plans for keeping education at the top of your agenda?
Hi, my name is James. All children and youth need positive out-of-school time opportunities. If elected, what would you do to provide youth in every community with high-quality out-of-school time?
Hi, I'm Esther. All immigrant children and youth need opportunities. If elected, how will you ensure that children and youth in immigrant families have the same opportunity for healthy development and long-term success for all children?
Hi, my name is Jasmine, and all children and youth need safe communities. If elected, what will you do to make sure that physical environments are safe and healthy for all children and youth? Also, what is your plan to curb youth violence in Minnesota?
Now we welcome to the stage your two gubernatorial candidates, Mark Dayton and Tom Horner.
Thank you very much. And the Children's Defense Fund, for all you do for our children, thank you very much. And Marion Wright Edelman, we're honored by your presence here today. And it was Marion who coined the phrase, "No Child Left Behind," and understood what it meant and really meant it. So Marion, we salute you today. And thank you all for being here. And thank you to the future leaders of America, the young men and women who just read those questions. And when I see their faces and hear them speak so well, I know that some of our children are turning out very well. And now our challenge and our opportunity is to make sure that all of our children do the same. Over 40 years ago when I was in college, I volunteered in a Head Start program in New Haven. And it was understood back then what a difference Head Start makes in giving children what they need to become successful as they move ahead to preschool, kindergarten, first grade, And yet even today, over 40 years later, with that understanding, less than half of the children in this country who are eligible for Head Start are able to take part in that program because of lack of funding. In Minnesota, that percentage is even lower. And tragically, even though we've known for years, and pioneering leaders like former Minneapolis Mayor and Congressman Don Frazier have known and told us for years how important early childhood education is, Minnesota's commitment has lagged terribly behind other states. That will change if I'm elected governor of Minnesota, I promise you that. Beginning with early childhood education, on to state funding for optional all-day kindergarten. We're one of relatively few states that does not provide state funding for all-day kindergarten. Less than half as a percent of the national average of Minnesota's children have that opportunity. We need smaller class sizes, especially in the elementary grades. We need, rather than the kind of onerous testing that's blaming schools and scapegoating teachers in schools that are having challenges, we need early diagnostic testing so that every child gets a chance to read out loud in the first week of school, can understand where they need additional help. And so teachers and other educators can provide that help individually or in small group settings. So at the end of the school year, children's second, third, fourth grade are reading at or above grade level. That's life transforming. That's what we need to do, is to give every child in this state what he or she needs so they can grow to be successful adults like the young people who spoke to us today, the future leaders of our state and nation. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here with my wife Libby and to be with all of you. And let me just say a couple of things. First of all, I'm Tom Horner, and I want to introduce me to you. Secondly, you shouldn't for a moment doubt the sincerity of all of the politicians who have been up here. They are very, very dedicated men and women who are concerned about the issues that you bring forward, and you ought to have a round of applause for all of them. But let me also say this to you. We're not going to move this agenda forward if we just rely on whoever is elected governor, on our senators, on our mayors. We're not going to move it forward that way. The only way this agenda moves forward is if you stay involved. It is so terrific for you to be out here. It is so important for you to be here to send all of Minnesota a message, not just that kids matter, but that all people matter. And that's the kind of state that we need for Minnesota if we're going to be a healthy and prosperous state. We have a political system that does have some challenges. A political system that relies too much on politicians. Here's what's going to be different in the next 4 years. What's going to be different is that policy isn't going to start in the building behind me. It's going to start with people like you. And next year when I'm governor, I'll be here with you, and we'll have twice as many people, and the year after that we'll have 3 times as many people, and the year after that we'll fill the whole mall with people who are committed to make Minnesota a better state for everyone. And we get there if we set some priorities. There are a lot of things that we want to do, but we also have to be mindful that we have a $6 billion deficit next year. 20% of the state's operating budget. So we have to set priorities. Because if everything's a priority, nothing gets done. And we've seen that time and again. And we can't afford that. So let me tell you what my priorities are. They're reflected in my budget proposal. They've been reflected in every forum we've done. They're reflected in every speech I do, regardless of the audience to whom I'm speaking. And the first priority starts with early childhood learning. We need to take that first dollar, put it into early childhood learning, and make sure it's accessible to everyone. And there are really terrific programs out there. The other day I was out at Fair Oaks Elementary School in the Osseo School District. And there is a program, a school that is age 3 to grade 3. Dealing with children, many of them new Minnesotans, engaging their parents, making sure that they're ready for kindergarten so that they can be reading by grade level at 3rd grade. They'll be successful when they graduate from high school, and they'll be successful as adults. We need to make our investments there. But we need to go beyond that. We need to make sure that we are funding the home visits, starting in prenatal care. We need to make sure that we're making strong investments in early childhood and family education. When Libby and I moved back from Washington after having served as Chief of Staff to Senator Durenberger, and I should tell you that I met Libby in Washington. She had been a staff person to Senator Muriel Humphrey and to Senator Hubert Humphrey, so we've been bipartisan way before bipartisan was cool. When we moved back to Washington, we were new parents, a 1-year-old. The first thing we did was enrolled in ECFE. And it made an amazing difference in our lives, an amazing difference for our kids. So much so that Libby joined the board of ECFE to make sure that it was available to other parents. It's those kinds of programs that we need to invest in. We need to make that commitment that what we do for children is what we do for families. And what we do for families is what we do for a strong Minnesota. And that needs to be our priority. So let me tell you this, I really appreciate these 10 terrific questions. And I've touched on some of them, but I know you have a lot of other speakers, and you have somebody a lot funnier than I am in Garrison Keeler, and so you want to hear from him. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 10 questions back to my office and post each and every one of them, not because we haven't answered them yet, but because we need to always be answering them. We need to always have that commitment. And with your help, when I'm elected November 2nd, they're going to go from my campaign office to my governor's office. And they will be the standard for how I govern the state of Minnesota. Not with the people behind me, but with the people in front of me. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your being here and tremendously honor your presence, and thank you for this opportunity.